What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most requested reviews analysis, so stick around. You don't want to miss this. But before we get into that, if you're considering a purchase, don't miss out on this incredible discount available right now. Check the description below and the pinned first comment. Now, let's not delay any further and jump right into the details.
Now, let's hear directly from our first reviewer about their experience.
This reviewer seems to be absolutely thrilled with their new gaming monitor. From the very beginning, our reviewer noted that the setup process was incredibly straightforward, taking only a few minutes to get the display assembled and placed on their desk. They were pleased with its relatively small footprint and found the ability to adjust the height and tilt to be a great feature for finding the perfect viewing angle. Even before launching a single game, the incredible brightness and color reproduction were immediately obvious, signaling a major upgrade from what they were used to. When it came to gaming, the experience was a significant leap forward. The motion was described as exceptionally smooth, and the quick response time made a noticeable difference, reducing eye strain and making extended gameplay sessions much more comfortable. Even when playing older titles locked at a lower refresh rate, this gaming screen still managed to outperform their previous one. However, the real wow moment came when our reviewer tried a game that could take full advantage of the monitor's high refresh rate capabilities, an experience they found simply amazing. In fact, the performance was so impressive that they decided to move their console over to this display, preferring it even to their primary living room television for gaming. Beyond just games, this client also found that the monitor excels at media consumption. For those times when they wanted to watch movies or sports on their PC, the visual quality was described as spectacular. The high dynamic range and local dimming technology truly shined, producing a level of brightness and color vibrancy that rivaled anything they had ever experienced. Based on this glowing report, they would wholeheartedly recommend this monitor to others.
Great! Now let's see what our next reviewer has to say about their experience.
This reviewer encountered a rather annoying issue with this monitor right out of the box. It simply refused to wake up from standby mode when connected to their computer. Apparently, it's a known bug in the monitor's firmware related to how it interacts with Windows power management. The workaround, which they discovered after some digging, involves tweaking the Windows power settings. Specifically, you have to set the turn off the display option to never in the power plan settings. It seems that when Windows attempts to turn off the display, this monitor gets confused and essentially locks itself into standby, requiring a complete power cycle to recover. Thankfully, you can still use a screensaver to blank the screen without triggering the issue. Despite this initial hiccup, our reviewer was ultimately impressed with the image quality, particularly when HDR is enabled in Windows. The brightness levels are described as truly amazing. However, they did find it necessary to adjust the HDR/SDR brightness balance setting in the Windows HD color settings to prevent whites from being overly blown out, especially in scenarios like viewing YouTube videos. Furthermore, the client highly recommends setting the local dimming to high when using Windows HDR. This configuration seems to make a significant difference, allowing the full array local dimming (FALD) backlight to effectively dim, resulting in much more realistic colors and avoiding the typical washed-out look often associated with LCD displays. Overall, once the initial standby issue was resolved and the settings were properly configured, this display provided a very satisfying visual experience.
Excellent. Let's find out what our next reviewer has to share about their experience.
This reviewer initially loved this monitor, but after living with it for a while, some issues surfaced. Apparently, if you're specifically searching for a 4K display under 42 inches that handles 120Hz and has DisplayPort and USB-C compatibility, your options are pretty limited, making this a contender almost by default. However, this client encountered a few significant drawbacks. Sadly, the near-perfect impression was shattered by the appearance of a dead pixel after just a few days. Then there's the HDR performance, which like many non-OLED displays is disappointing. Our reviewer found it washed out dim, and it skewed the colors towards warmer tones, essentially detracting from the picture quality. Viewing angles weren't great either, with the corners of the screen appearing dimmer when viewed from off-center. Despite these downsides, there are positives. The design is undeniably excellent, the screen size is considered ideal, and the brightness in standard dynamic range (SDR) mode is good. The menu system and built-in gaming features are also well received. The biggest complaint, though, is the absence of an OLED option. Our reviewer strongly urges the manufacturer to release this same display with an OLED panel. Apparently, there's a real gap in the market for a smaller OLED screen with those specific resolution and refresh rate capabilities for desktop use. Ultimately, this client switched to a larger OLED TV, which offers stunning picture quality, but isn't ideal for desktop use due to its size and lack of certain ports. The hope is that the manufacturer will address this gap with a future OLED version of this monitor, creating a truly perfect display for both work and gaming.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit like, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. Catch you in the next one.